Why? Why not try to...
You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back. He said, I don't want her. Okay, what else?
Oh my God, racism. It's so funny, right? I mean, look at Donald Trump's entire cabinet sitting there laughing about his racism. And you know, I look at that cabinet and I think to myself, there are a lot of people who are laughing at his racism right now, who if they were not in his cabinet, he would be making fun of them. He would be hateful toward them. He would be bigoted toward them. He'd be homophobic toward them. He'd be sexist toward them. And of course, he would be racist toward them and their family as well. Let's take Kash Patel, for instance. His real government name is Kashyap Premad Patel. If he were not Donald Trump's director of the FBI, and he were someone who was opposing Donald Trump would be at every podium, every microphone, every chance he got saying, oh, that guy, Kashyap Premad Patel. Because that's what he does. Just like he calls Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, because he's a racist and he wants everyone to hear his whole name because he thinks that makes people fear him or something. That is what he would be doing to Kashyap Premad Patel. But Kash Patel stands there and laughs at the racism. He is of Indian descent. Do you think Donald Trump wouldn't be saying something like, you know, I met the leader of India, asked him if he'd take that Kashyap Premad Patel back. He said, I don't even want him. That's what he would be doing. Exactly that. But this is what people of color have to do when they're in the circle of the racist right. They have to play along. They have to laugh along like racism is so damn cool. J.D. Vance, for instance, his wife's actual government name is Usha Bala Chulukuri Vance. She's Asian. Do you think Donald Trump, if he had, let's say, for instance, those videos of J.D. Vance that are going around it where J.D. Vance said, I'm a never Trump guy. Trump is not a good person. I don't like the guy. I'd never vote for him. Let's say because of those videos, Donald Trump chose not to choose J.D. Vance as his vice president. Do you think he would not be out there saying, J.D. Vance has his wife and she's Asian? I called the leader of Asia and I said, hey, you want to take her back? And he said, I don't want her back. He would be doing the exact same thing. He would find a way to bring that up about J.D. Vance and his wife because that is what he does. That is what racists do. Pam Bondi is a woman. We've heard and seen the way Donald Trump treats women. Do you think he wouldn't be saying something like, oh, and that Pam Bondi who's like bleeding from everywhere, all of her orifices or whatever. You think he wouldn't say that the way he said it about Megyn Kelly? Because she said one or two things wrong about him when she worked for Fox News? Do you think he wouldn't be doing the same with Pam Bondi, saying sexist things about her? Of course he would. Stephen Miller just looks like a weird character. Do you think he wouldn't be making fun of that dude's appearance? Of course he would. Scott Bessent, he's gay. Yeah, Donald Trump's economic advisor standing there is a gay man. Do you think if he were on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, or whatever, actually opposing Donald Trump, talking about how bad this economy is because of Donald Trump's tariffs, do you think Donald Trump wouldn't find a way to work in some innuendo about him and his spouse or his boyfriend being gay? Of course he would. But this is what people who are gay and in the conservative party have to do. They have to stand around and they have to laugh along even when they're being made fun of. When they're making fun of marginalized communities and you're a part of one and you're standing around going, that's good. They do that to stay in the club. Most of them think it's horrible. Most of them know this is horrible. This is a horrible way for the president of the United States to be behaving, but they laugh along with it because they just want to stay in the club. I've talked about this many times. This is why you see black MAGAs out there saying the most just ignorant shit. This is why you see J.D. Vance, Scott Bessent, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Stephen Miller all stand around and laugh along when Donald Trump is doing things that is very unbecoming of the office of the President of the United States of America. These are very bad times. Like, make no mistake about it. This is horrible. This dude is talking about someone who is a citizen of this country, who is a representative of this country, and he's talking about sending them back to Somalia. That is racism, unfettered, just complete racism. These are bad times when we have a president of the United States who is behaving like this, and not one person in his cabinet who is a pretty, for a Republican cabinet, kind of diverse, not one of them holds him accountable. Not one of them just at least paused and not laughed or anything. Not one of them will say later to him, you know, that's kind of racist that you're saying that. You probably shouldn't do that. Not one of them will do that. That is what we have right now. The dude will obsessively tweet and post and say the most vile, racist, sexist, homophobic, hateful things, and not one person holds him accountable. Not one person says a damn thing. They all just stand around and laugh at it like it's normal. None of these people would accept this from their children. They wouldn't accept a kid treating their child like that at school. They would be in the front office saying, hey, protect my kid from this bully who continues to make fun of them for their race or their height or their sexual orientation or anything like that. They would not stand for this from children in grade school, but they stand for it with the President of the United States of America. It's a very sad time. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.